Us in the studio for more discussion on human rights and war crimes is Emira Woods, co-director of foreign policy in Focus at the Institute for Policy Studies. She is extremely well versed on global justice issues involving Africa. Emira, welcome to In Focus.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Thanks for doing the segment.
Yes, and now what irony? I mean, look, Gaddafi was the guy that was being sought for human rights violations, and now it's being claimed that his rights were violated. He was brutally killed. What do you make of that?
I think what we have is, in this 21st century, a demand for the rule of law to be respected, regardless of who's at play, to make sure that there isn't a type of mob justice or what have you that goes against all notions of human dignity. Even for a Gaddafi, you have to have measures of the rule of law. And I think it is critical to hold all accountable, including perhaps NATO, who began the assault that led to Gaddafi being in that drainage ditch, to the person who actually pulled the trigger, to those who brutalize and sodomize, all these horrific reports. I think accountability is the critical piece now, particularly for a Libya that's rebuilding after 42 years of Gaddafi.
But now, you know, as you say that, there is somebody who's confessed to have put that bullet in Gaddafi. And as we just heard David Crane say, it is definitely a war crime. But how really likely is it that there will be justice, and what kind of justice are we looking at?
Well, I think it's important now for the new authorities in Libya, the National Transitional Council transferring itself to a new transitional government, to hold people accountable, to understand their role in upholding international law, in upholding humanitarian law. So I think whether it's regarding Gaddafi or also these instances of people, particularly the dark-skinned Libyans, those who are economic migrants from other, particularly the African countries, that have also been victimized through racial discrimination, injustice, killings, assassinations. All of these reports are now flourishing. I think it is important for the authorities in Libya to understand their role in projecting respect for the rule of law.
That sounds really good, but really, how practical is that, especially in the short term? How can you achieve that in a country that has just emerged from a state of chaos?
And also, just to add to that, the fact that there are still atrocities being committed against people. You just mentioned some of the black Africans.
Absolutely. I think it is important to hold people accountable. There are now reports from Human Rights Watch, from Amnesty International. There are independent assessors on the ground who have been documenting these atrocities. I think it is important to not just let those documents be pushed by the wayside, but to understand that they can be the basis of an accountable judicial process where people are brought to court, that there is an independent judiciary that's able to now investigate, put people on trial, and have them have an opportunity to actually present their side of the story. It is important to respect the rule of law, particularly in instances where now, after again 42 years, a country is re-emerging. People who were clamoring for democratic expression are finally now able to say, we are setting forward a new day. You cannot begin that new day mired in these types of atrocities.
You know, Vincent and I were talking earlier, and he mentioned the fact that these 42 years have been under Gaddafi. He's gotten all those systems under his kind of management. So what kind of system would these people who are being brought to justice face, and where would it be?
Well, I think that is a critical element now for a Libya that's re-emerging. It is rebuilding institutions that are needed for the future governing of the country. It is those institutions that will respect the rule of law, the institutions of the judiciary. It is understanding the importance of a free press. It is understanding the importance of people being able to organize, assemble, choose freely their leaders at the local and national level, hold those leaders accountable. Those are all the steps of building a healthy Libya today.
You're not going anywhere. You're staying here with us.
Absolutely.
We're going to have more perspective from Emira Woods coming up in our next segment, so don't go away.